think I'm ready to go. For those of you watching can tell me if the audio is okay, I would be appreciative of that. And we'll get started. Alright. So my plan for tonight is to find, or not really find, because I've already found them. Thank you, Robert. My plan is to go through and install at least 3 distros that I've never installed before. That's my plan. Now, this will be in VirtualBox because I don't actually have a capture card to install this on hardware, but so we'll see how successful we are. But it should be fun. Okay. Well, so I suppose I could say what distros I'm going to install. So I'm going to be installing Bunsen Labs. So I found these all by doing a random distribution thing on DistroWatch. Now, my criteria were that they had to be distros that I've never installed before, and they had to be desktop environment containing distros. Like, they couldn't be like a server-based distro or something for the TV or something like that. So those were my basic criteria. There were a few that I just passed by because they were no longer active. So I did kind of try to get ones that have been at least updated in the last year or so. I think the last one maybe hasn't been updated in the last year. I can't remember. But anyways, we're going to do Bunsen Labs. We're going to do something called Simplicity Linux. We're going to be doing Refracta, Reborn OS, and OpenMandriva. I've never installed any of these before. So we're going to give those a try. I believe OpenMandriva is an independent distro, so it's based on its own thing. Reborn is Arch-based, and I think the other 3 are all Debian-based. So that's going to be a thing. Hello, Chris. Okay. Now, I will say that Reborn OS took for literally forever to download. It took like 4 hours to download a 2 gigabyte ISO. So that was an interesting experience. All the rest of them downloaded really fast. So I'm assuming it's just the way that they host their ISOs, because I don't think that this was on like SourceForge or anything like that. So I did want to go through and actually download them first, because I didn't want to do that on stream. That would be highly entertaining. Just sitting here waiting for an ISO to download. Okay. Well, the question is which one to start with first. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with Bunsen Labs first. Now, like I said, this is based on Debian Stable. Has an OpenBox desktop. Now, I'm not very familiar with OpenBox. That's one way to look at it, Emacs, yeah. More likely, it's just that they are hosting it on their own server or something, and it's just slow. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and start up. I should have probably went through and created the VMs first, but so let's see here. Linux, and this is Debian 64. I always give them about 8 gigabytes of RAM, even though that's way too much. But it honestly doesn't matter to me. So I have 64 gigs, just so I can do stupid stuff like that. Alright. What's weird about VirtualBox is that if you change the video memory from out here without going into the settings, you can change this all the way up to 256 megs. But if you do it within the settings, you can usually only do 128, but if you've already changed it, it doesn't show that. Give it a couple more cores, and then okay. And then we'll go through and add the thing to the and let's see here. Downloads, stream ISOs. Alright, so this is the one that has a really weird name. I think it's the lithium one. I can't remember. Like, they didn't actually go through. Yep, that's the right one. Okay. Alright, this one here. Alright, open. And make sure it's selected. Choose. I think that's it. Alright. I don't know anything about Gen 2 Emacs. Not a thing, other than I know that you have to compile everything from source, including, and you have to build your own kernel. That's literally the extension of everything I know about Gen 2. Now, I've watched some Mental Outlaw stuff on Gen 2, but I don't really have an interest in, I'm just too impatient for that kind of stuff. Now, I know, there are ones that are based on Gen 2 that aren't exactly, you know, like that, I think, but I'm not sure what they are. I'd have to look into it. Okay, let's see here. I think we're ready to start. Let's go and get started. Let's see how this works. So, alright, so we don't get full screen, which is disappointing. This live operating system allows you to test Bunsen labs without making any changes to your computer's hard drive. Keyboard shortcuts for some of the common applications are listed on the desktop. So we get ourselves a conky. You can change your keyboard layout by running the command in the terminal set xkb map. I think it should be okay. Okay, so what we're going to try to do, so surprisingly there doesn't seem to be a super T is going to be a terminal. So this is just thought maybe NeoFetch might be installed. You never know, we might get lucky. So let's see if we can make this bigger. Yep, there we go. That's better. Okay. Alright. And we can close this. So, let's see if we can figure out where the installer is. Maybe I should have read more. See if we can get that back. Yep, here we go. Username is user live. To install the operating system to the hard drive, reboot and choose install or text install from the boot menu. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to have to, I probably should have read that. Okay, well, we'll do that. Oops. Yes, YouTube, I know I'm live. Thank you very much for that charming notification. Try ourselves again. YouTube is sometimes completely useless. Okay, so let's see here. Install. Okay. So we're going to see if this is a text-based installer or if it's going to be a visual installer. Oh, visual installer. How nice. Okay. So English is good. Continue. So this looks very much like the Debian installer from what I remember, which is not that surprising because it is based on Debian. So continue. American English is fine. Yeah, this looks a lot like Debian. I think I've installed Debian exactly one time. I think. That's fine. The domain name, I don't think I need to enter that. The user account will be created for you to use instead of the root account. Please enter the real name of this user. This information will be... I think... And we'll just go ahead and do this. Okay. That is fine. I think you were supposed to leave that stuff blank if you wanted to be a root user, but I don't... Because I've only installed Debian one time, so... Let's see here. A very complicated password. Okay, continue. I actually don't mind Debian all that much. I just don't prefer the package management system, so I don't like apt at all. Eastern is fine. And you just go ahead and use the entire disk to see how it does. Yep. Continue. Oh, you can do a separate home? Cool. I don't think we need to do that this time, but if I were going to install this in metal, I'd definitely do that. Okay, continue. It's nice that it asks you something that you have to specifically act on in order to actually go through and write stuff. That's kind of cool. A lot of times, like, Ubuntu will just tell you, you know, pop up with a "Are you sure?" message, and people just click on buttons willy-nilly, so... It's one of the fears I always have with an Arch install is that I'll point the Arch install to the wrong disk and end up overwriting something that, you know, I can't, you know. So, and it's a lot harder when you have disks that are the same size. So I have like two Western Digital 2 terabyte drives in my computer, and they both show up exactly the same size. So it's really hard to figure out which one to point things to. Apt isn't so bad. There are just a few better package managers out there. Yeah. Hi, Torsten. How you doing? Honestly, I think most of my problems with apt is that I don't like the PPA system. Things just get abandoned in the PPA system half the time. The PPAs are empty or they have out-of-date, insecure software. Now, I mean, I understand that the AUR is not any different. Like there are a ton of abandoned packages on the AUR, so my love affair with the AUR is probably kind of hypocritical, but I can't really help that. Hey Wayne, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, such as it is. Yeah, Pac-Man and the AUR are great. Hey Meglin, how you doing, bud? We're just waiting for this to do its thing. Probably going to be the least interesting part of the stream, which is, you know, saying something. Oh, here we go. It seems that this new installation is the only operating system on the system. If so, it should be safe to install the grub bootloader to the master boot record for your first hard drive. So I think we should say yes to that. You need to make the newly installed system bootable by installing the grub bootloader on a bootable device. The usual way to do this is to install the grub on the master boot record of your first hard drive. If you prefer, you can install grub elsewhere on the hard drive, or to another drive, or even to a floppy. Now let's hold on here, friends. Even to a floppy. Alright, Bunsen Labs, you guys need to update your system just a little bit, just your text. I think I can just go ahead and select that. I'm not sure though. Just hold on a second. I'll get my floppy disk out and install the thing. Like I have a first Ubuntu like CD or something around here somewhere. Even that didn't come on a floppy disk. The installation is complete, so it's time to boot into your new system. Make sure to remove the installation media so that you can boot back into the system rather than restarting the installation. Okay. So it's probably going to try to reboot. Which probably won't work because this is a virtual box. Oh, well, it's going to do it just fine. Okay, cool. Alright, here we go. Remove the installation floppy now. Oh, it's so good. It's like maybe somebody hasn't actually I mean, because this has been updated fairly recently. It's not like it's completely old. So it's like they haven't read through their installer forever. I wonder if the Debian installer says the same thing. Does anybody know? Because I bet you it probably does, because that was very much the Debian installer. I almost want to install Debian just to find out. So this is OpenBox. And oops. First thing I always do is install NeoFetch. Okay, so you can clear that. I know you can just do Control L. I always forget because I always have C map or alias to clear. Alright, so NeoFetch. So we have a Bunsen Labs. Ubuntu did come out a long time ago, yeah. So that floppy thing has been there for quite a while. I think they definitely need to update that. That's just, that's so much fun. Okay, so we got ourselves a cool logo here. Running Bash 5.0, the kernel 4.19, which is quite old. I'm almost positive that the Bunsen stable actually is running 5.04, I think, now, which was the previous LTS. So this is even older than that. All right. Yeah, this is definitely let me get out of this and go back to C, because I want to see when this was released. So this was released on August 2nd, 2020. So, um, okay, so 5.4 was the last long term before 5.10. 4.19 was the one before that. So it is now 2 LTSs behind, despite only having been released a year ago. I remember using floppy disks too, but I was like in elementary school when it happened. Well, no, that's not true, because we had the big, like, 5.25 inch or whatever it was when I first got into school. And, you know, so we used those in, like, the really, really old Macs. I don't know what those were. And I used those all the way through middle school. And then the little, like, 2.5 inch or whatever the hell they were, floppy disks didn't come until high school. And, like, I have a whole ton of them out in the other room. But still. Okay, so yes, I know this is Debian based, but it's still an old Debian. It is Debian 10 based. That's right. Okay, so, but that, I mean, that's not a huge deal because it's still in support. But I think Bunsen Labs is one of those ones that doesn't update all that much. Yeah, the ones with the big hole in the middle. The floppy disk drives. Those are fun. I did my first programming in computer class on those disks, and that was fun. God, that was a long time ago. So let's see what we got installed here. So, applications, accessories. So we have, I don't know what BLCLI editor is. This is going to be, that looks like Nano. Is that a graphical version of Nano? Tell me you're kidding me right now. There's a graphical version of Nano? Alright, I think it's time for me to retire. Like, I know there's graphical versions of Vim, but why is there a graphical version of Nano? Why do you need a graphical version of Nano? If that's even what that is. It's a CLI editor. And that would be Nano. I mean, that's highly entertaining. Why not just install, why would you, I'm confused about that. So BL File Manager, what's that? So this looks like Thunar. That is Thunar. Yep. Okay. Thunar is a good file manager. Let's see, go back here. Yeah, it is just it's because, but still, why would you have a link to Nano? I don't understand Nano. Sometimes I have to use Nano because VimWiki hijacks every Markdown file on my system. My vimrc file is a mess. I use NeoVim, but it's still a mess. I haven't updated it in a long time. Let's see here. Bulk renames. That's from Thunar. Catfish file search. Clip it. It's probably going to be a screenshot thing. Compton's here. Calculator's calculator. LibreOffice is showing up in the accessories thing for some reason. Nitrogen's here for wallpapers. Alright, well, if screenshot is here, then what is Clip It? Oh, that's going to be a clipboard manager. Yeah, alright, that makes sense. Alright. Let's see here. What else? Terminal emulator. Oh, this was Xterminal emulator. Is that Xterm? Is that what Xterm shows up? I've just never seen Nano in a menu before. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just weird. So Xterminal emulator is just Xterm, right? I've never heard it really called that before. But that seems to be the only. Oh, look, Vim's here in the in the file menus. I've seen Vim in the menus before. It seems to be installed that way. Because like if you install Vim and you're running like KDE or something, it'll show up in the menu. Genie's here. Document viewers in Rissetto image viewer. Multimedia, we have XFburn, VLC's here, and Bunsen Labs Media Player, which is just VLC. Wonder why they would link to. I wonder why they link to VLC twice. They call it VLC, and then they call it BL Media Player, like they've done some kind of special sauce to it. Yeah, see, I like the theming as well. This is like solarized-ish, right? Is that what this is called? Definitely is cool. I didn't actually look at the welcome thing there. I'll do that in a minute. Internet, we got web browser, which is going to be the extended support release of Firefox. FileZilla is installed by default. HexChat by default. Mail reader is going to be. There's no mail reader installed, but they have it linked in the menu anyways. I saw DistroTube's video on Neovite. I haven't tried it yet. I don't necessarily need those animations, but I mean they're cool, but I think they distract me. Let's see here. So settings. This is going to probably use. So this is. Yeah, this uses the XFCE stuff for settings management, which is good. And also not surprising at all. Most window managers probably do that. So there's not a ton of stuff here. What is Gigolo? A simple front end to easily connect, mount to local remote file systems. I've never heard of that before in my life. Oh, that would make sense. That Torsten, that the BL stuff is just stuff that's linked to other applications, I guess. I don't know that I'd necessarily need it, but I mean, because you could do this right in a file manager, so I'm not exactly sure what this is, why, right? It's a little weird. Where was I? So the rest of the stuff is fairly. GW is here for package management. I'm surprised Synaptic isn't installed. Oh, Synaptic is installed. It's right there. I spoke too soon. Okay. Alternatives configurator. Alternatives configurator. What is that? Let's see if I can make this bigger. Full screen. What even is this? Right, Torsten, I know that that's what it's for. I just don't understand why you can't just use Thunar. Because Thunar has all that functionality. I mean, it's not front and center, but. Okay, so this is kind of like where you set, like, default apps or something like that. Or set for, like. It's a Symlink manager. I've never heard of a Symlink manager in my entire life. My noobness is showing out. I can't help it, but still, that's. I guess because when I want to manage a Symlink, I just use the terminal. Granted, I don't use Symlinks all that much, so maybe it's just because I've never explored Symlinks all that much. I don't know. Okay, so let's take a look at this welcome screen. So hey Matt, welcome to Bunsen Labs Linux. This is an optional post-install script designed to help you configure your new Linux installation and get the most out of Bunsen Labs. You will now be presented with a series of options. You will need your password, so please have it handy. You will also need a working internet connection, so if you have not done so already, please configure your internet connection. If you do not want to run this script now, you can run it later at a later date by entering the command bl welcome in your terminal. Let's enter to continue. Let's see what it does. I'm assuming this is going to install some stuff. While false is primarily about freedom and choice, certain choices are known to carry increased risks of breaking things in Bunsen Labs. Two riskier things are adding the Ubuntu PPAs, installing a package that wants a newer version of libc6, which I believe would probably include something like DWM. So more information can be found here. Right-click the above link to choose Open Link to visit the page. Please type I understand to continue with this script. Okay. Why not just yes? Before we can continue, we need to make sure the system software is up to date. This script will execute the following commands. Okay. If you do not want to upgrade now, you can run this script anytime. So would you like to upgrade software now? Sure. Why not? Thanks, Coded, for that. I like them. I do like Endeavor OS quite a lot. But that installer, man, was that slow. I'm still not sure what was going on with that. So watching somebody else do updates on their system has to be about the most interesting thing to watch on YouTube, right? I wonder if updating this will actually update our kernel. That'd be interesting. I think the reason why I thought the recent version of Debian had moved to the 5.10 or 5.4 kernel was because MX Linux has. I think I remember them being on a much more recent kernel. That's been a while ago. So if you use Emacs, do you use just regular Emacs or do you use Doom Emacs? I have Doom Emacs installed. Bunsen Labs Lithium comes with a set of background images, but the wallpaper and other background images that were released with Bunsen Labs Hydrogen and Helium are also still available. Would you like to install these other images from the Bunsen Labs Image Archives package? Yes, why not? Okay, what's next? Debian backports are packages taken from the next Debian release called Testing, adjusted and recompiled for usage in Debian stable. Why not? And see, the only way I'd ever be able to get into Emacs at all is to have the Vim key bindings. It's just the way it's going to end up having to be. If I ever do a video on that, it's going to be with Doom Emacs. I'm just too reliant on stuff in Vim. Provided as is basis. The risk of incompatibilities with other components in Debian stable. It is therefore recommended to only select single backported packages that fit your needs and not use all available backports. Sure. This is quite a setup process. It's cool that this does it for you, though, because, I mean, a lot of people are going to want this stuff. I don't need Bluetooth support. Java support. By default, Bunsen Labs does not come with Java runtime environment. Don't need it. Dropbox. Page 10 of 16. Okay, we're almost done with this. Don't need Dropbox. This distro is Bunsen Labs. And this is their lithium release from August of last year. The most recent release. The remaining screens will offer you the chance to install less commonly used packages used for developing software. Would you like to see these option screens? Sure. Why not? We've made it this far. So this is, would you like to install some commonly used version control tools? We don't actually need to do that, but it's nice to see what they are. So we can say no to that. Would you like to install Apache 2 web server? No. So that's LAMP. Would you like to install a suite of packages used for developing Debian packages? We should list, like, what's the point of doing this and not listing what those packages are? It would make more sense if you at least gave some idea of what packages you'll be installing, because otherwise, just install them, I guess. I don't know. Would you like to perform these actions? Sure. We're going to get those images, and then we can go look at the images. Have fun at work, Maitland. Okay, any key to exit. That was done. Okay, now one last thing, and then we'll move on to the next one. We're gonna, let's see here. Nitrogen. All right. So, honestly, it didn't install that many. If it went through and actually installed all the old wallpapers, it didn't actually put them here in Nitrogen. So that's a little bit disappointing. I'm not going to go hunting for them, but still, I can't say I'm all that impressed with the ones that come with it. That's a weird looking wallpaper. Alright. So, that was Bunsen Labs. That was a complete success. I didn't have a single error there. That's a nice way to start the stream. It's Debian. So the question I have is, so you basically what you're doing is you're installing this. That's a good idea. We'll see if probably won't see too much here. Okay, and then we'll give it a reboot. See how that goes. Something might have changed. Maybe the wallpapers will show up too. We lost our full screen. For what reason? Not sure. There we go. Nope, still on the same kernel. But that's not all that surprising. But let's go check Nitrogen because we wanted to see the wallpapers. Probably didn't show up. Nope, still the same ones. Okay, well, we tried. Probably... They probably were installed in the system wallpaper folder. Yeah. So that's probably why they're not showing, but that's okay. Nitrogen's kind of finicky like that. Let's go ahead and shut this down. I keep hitting super enter for the terminal. Oops, forgot to now. There we go. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Alright, we'll move into the next one. What's the next one? I don't remember what the next one is. Stream ISOs. Here we go. So the next one is going to be whatever that desktop 20.04 was. I think that was so let's see here. So we did Bunsen. We can close that. Simplicity OS is going to be that one. This one right here. So we'll do this one next. And I believe that is in Simplicity Linux. We're going to look for that on Distro too, or Distro Watch, because I want to see what it's based on. This is based on Dev1, so that means we're not going to get systemd. So Simplicity Linux is a Dev1 based distribution with Cinnamon as the default desktop environment. Prior to 2020, it was based on Puppy Linux and XFCE. Okay, it comes with 3 editions: Mini, Desktop, and Gaming. We're going to try the desktop version. The Mini edition features cloud-based software. The desktop flavor offers a collection of general-purpose software, and the gaming variant includes a launcher for Steam games. Okay, so this is going to be Simplicity Linux, and yep, and then this is going to be Debian as well. I think that will probably work if it's not expecting systemd. Let's go ahead and give it some memory here. I know that I still know that that's way too much, but I don't care. It's just habit at this point. Okay, so let's see. We got the right amount of video RAM here. Change this to the other one here. Okay. Add the choose file. Add, and this is this one here. Okay. And choose. And we're going to go ahead and give it a processor. Give us some more processor cores. Okay. Yeah, I don't like when they change either. It kind of shows a lack of focus, but we're going to give it a try. I actually haven't used Dev1 before, so this is going to be a new experience. This may be a text-based installer. I'm not exactly sure. We're going to find out. If this is a text-based installer, we may not be doing it, because those are usually a lot harder to learn. Although Dev1 is not a text-based installer. Dev1 has a graphical installer similar to Debian. It's Maroon, I think, if I remember right. I think Linux Dabbler had it, so. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Well, this is taking its nice sweet time. Definitely not the fastest startup into a live environment I've ever seen, but not the slowest. Because I've never actually myself installed Dev1. I've only gone through and watch somebody else do it. Well, we've gotten to a black screen. That's either promising or not promising. Wow. Interesting. Oh, we have a mouse cursor, and we have a live environment. Yay! What did Distro Watch say that the environment was going to be? It said it was going to be cinnamon, right? Cinnamon is currently running without video hardware acceleration, and as a result, you may observe much higher than normal CPU usage. That's okay because we're in a virtual environment. I said it was either good or bad. I'm not making any statements on the goodness of black screens or not. I'm interested to see. We seem to be stuck, but we're gonna be patient. I'm gonna be patient. I'm not good at being patient, but I'm gonna be patient. Definitely not the fastest startup I've ever seen. But what you gonna do? We'll see if this comes up. And that's interesting. There is actually something there. The bar is just not actually showing up. That's interesting. I'm glad I pressed the super key. When in doubt, press the super key. So, okay. So, let's see if we search for install. I don't think that that's actually going to... Oh, there it is. Yeah, you gotta go down. Why would they set the panel to auto hide? That is silly. Yeah, that's weird. Why would they... thanks for pointing that out, but that's really weird. So the PSC Man FM here as the file manager, but that doesn't help me find the installer. Let's see here. This might be one of those systems... it's meant for actually being installed, right? I didn't choose a desktop environment that was meant to be used off a USB key, right? Because it didn't say anything here about that. I bet you it is, because it says live medium here. I bet you that's what that is. So there's not actually an installer. That makes... Alright, well, you know what? That's okay. Because it doesn't actually... This doesn't actually have a website, so you can actually can't go find more information about it. Oh well. We'll go through and look at the live environment then. And we'll continue to ponder the interesting choice of making the only panel on the screen hidden by default. It's still the weirdest thing ever. So this is Cinnamon. All programs. Accessories. So create a module from install packages by apt-get. So clipman is going to be clip menu or clipboard manager. There's a lot of things here that I don't know what those things are. So app to SFS, I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, right? I mean, you wouldn't game on a live medium, would you? Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think so. This is the desktop version. And the reason why I chose the desktop version, because I was assuming, probably like I said wrongly, is that you would install it on your desktop. um, but I guess it doesn't matter. Like I said, there's a lot of things here that I don't know what those are. Virtual keyboard, Chrome apps, Tega. What is that? Whatever it is, it doesn't want to load very fast. Let's see here. D-Dog Special. Clear changes at reboot. So this is a live medium. So anything you install should save to the medium, at least. We can find out if that's true. Let's open up a terminal. First, there has to be a way. Modify panel. Let's see here. Panel settings. Let's see here. Auto hide panel. Wait. Is there not an option here to not hide panel? Oh, there it is right there. Okay, good. That's dumb. I mean, that's the dumbest thing ever. I mean, just let's. I mean, definitely not new user friendly, because I would have just sat here for ages and ages if somebody hadn't said it was hidden. I mean, eventually I would have. I mean, maybe figured it out, but okay. So let's do it here. Sudo apt install neofetch. So neofetch is not in the repositories. Okay, that's an interesting thing. I don't know anything about dev1, so why would they be using different? See what this is. Create a module from temporary installed packages by apt-get. These packages will not be registered by dpkg. Depending on the sort of applications, it may work or not. What is the best Linux for gaming? Probably Pop! OS. Do apt update first. That might do it. Yeah, that worked. Thanks, Emacs. You've been saving my ass the whole stream. You gotta remember, I'm not a Debian user, so I don't. Of course, the first thing I do on an Arch distro is update the mirrors. So I mean, of course. Okay, so this lists itself as Debian and not Simplicity Linux. This is 10 Buster, so it's going to be using 5.6. It's using the 5.6 kernel. It's using 5.6. Why? 5.6 isn't an LTS, so that's really weird. It's using a 5.6 kernel. That feels really weird. There's 1,000 packages on this live thing. It's using Cinnamon with Mutter. This is the LXD terminal. Yeah, okay. So we did manage to install something. That's good. So the question is, now that we've installed that, I'm just curious. Let's see if rebooting makes that persistent. I'm just very curious to see if that stays installed, because I mean, then what's the point? like I understand. So like Tails, I think if I'm remembering this right, Tails is a live medium distro, but that's for security purposes, right? I mean, it's possible that this is being used for the same way, but okay. I'm more interested now in the gaming thing because then if they have a gaming live medium, that'd be interesting to see how they did it. But I can't game it at a virtual machine, so I don't have anything to pass through for graphics. Mm. Yeah, it's weird that they changed it back to because it says it's based on Dev1, but it identifies itself as Debian, which is again very weird. So yeah, but you can't. I mean, you still have to install something to the disk, and even if you have like a USB-C hard drive that you can. I mean, first of all, let's bypass the fact that most school computers probably don't have USB-C to actually install, to hook up to. If like USB, most of them probably are using USB 2. But I mean, still, you'd have to install something on the medium to play a game, right? So I just don't think it'd be fast enough. It's gonna be something that I'm gonna look into off stream because it's very weird. Um, Also, startup times not all that great, but and that even leads more to the idea that okay, so nothing is persistent because that thing's hiding itself again. Yeah, so nothing persistent. So even if that's true, you'd have to go through and install your games every single time. Yeah. Um, this is I mean, if you're gonna use it as something for like Tails, you know, fine. If you're just gonna use this for something that was secure, you wanted it always contained, and you always wanted it wiped afterwards. This is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this from what I've seen. It has stuff installed that you could use. It has, I mean, oddly, it has Google Chrome as the web browser. I mean, so yeah, I can see if systemctl is installed. No, so it's not running systemd. But it most definitely is. It's got a spell check right. It's still weird, right? So it's a Dev1 based distro of identifying itself as Debian. So it makes you wonder what they're. It's weird. Okay, I'm pretty well done with this. Like I don't mind live mediums distros. I don't understand the whole Google Chrome thing. Flash player choice. Yeah, I realize that now. Um, so whoever's doing this is definitely not afraid of installing proprietary software by default. Audacity's here, MPV, Shotcut for video editing, Spotify's pre-installed. Okay, so very interesting. I'm not sure what we did to deserve that, Mr. Ayab, or whatever your name is. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and quit this out. We'll move to the next one. This one here was Simplicity Linux, supposedly based on Dev1, though it doesn't show the Dev1 logo like Dev1 does. So it also still wants you to log in if you use the TTY as Puppy, interestingly, because it used to be based on Puppy. So it actually has been updated recently. I don't... DistroWatch doesn't actually tell you when the last update was, or does it? Yep, it was updated in May of last year, so it's been about a year. So, no, it wasn't a 2009 distro. Alright, so that was Simplicity Linux. Not great. Alright, we're going to be moving to something called Refracta. Now, Refracta is an operating system designed for home computer users. It provides simple and familiar layout that most users will find very comfortable. Now, this one is also based on Dev1, so... Yeah, definitely, Emacs, definitely. Alright, we're going to delete that one. Get that off the hard drive. Start ourselves something new. So this one is going to be called... Refracta. Okay, and this is going to be Linux and Debian 64. Alright. Doesn't really matter. Alright, let's see here. Yep. Remember when I selected these, I did the randomizer thing on DistroWatch, so the first 3 of these just happen to be based on Debian. The next one will be based on Arch, I promise. Okay. Alright. Here we go. So this is Refracta 10.4. So this should be running XFCE. I should go and give it another processor core as well. Alright, so this is going to be Refracta, based on Dev1. See, that looks more like it. So, let's see here. Should go ahead and do the default one. See how this goes. How you doing, John? Welcome to the stream. We're on... Is this number 3 or number 4? I've forgotten. So we've done... Simplicity, we've done... So this is 3. Alright. Oops. Alright. Let's see here. So this is definitely XFCE. And this looks a lot like, I believe, Dev1 does out of the box. I know it was horrible, but like I said, the next one's Arch, and the last one was OpenMandriva, and that was independent. So, I only noticed after I was done with the third one that they were all Debian-based. Okay, so let's first... We got some big, so we can get this a little bit bigger here, which is good. A little bit of screen tearing, but that's not unusual. So let's go ahead and see here. Fire menu, start applications in Fire Jail. Let's see here. So, is it possible that I chose another one that is a live medium? That'd be funny. Thunar, Genie, Firefox. Let's see here. BleachBit. Refracta installer. Here we go. This utility will install a running live CD or running USB on your hard drive. Alright, let's see here. Grub PC is not installed, but you booted into in BIOS mode. If you have the Grub PC dev packages, you will be given a chance to install them into the new system. Okay. Check the options you want for the installation. If you don't understand an option, you probably don't need it. Well, that's nice to say. Because true, right? So create a new separate home partition. We don't need to do that. Don't need to do a separate boot partition. Just use swap files, fine. We don't need to encrypt anything. Write random data to encrypted partitions. Don't write zeros. Do not format file systems. I'll handle it myself. No, we just do it automatically. Use file system labels. FS tab. We don't need to do that. By default, it says disable automatic login, which is good. Disable automatic login to console, which is good. Run pre-install scripts listed below. Run post-install script listed below. Okay, so well, I mean, or you're me. I'm sure sometimes I'd not understand something. Okay, so it's gonna run gparted. Okay, let's see here. Well, no partition table. It's been a long time since I've used gparted. ext4 now. Is there a place here to create a boot flag, or do you not need to do that? Let's go ahead and give it a try. Sure. No, successful. Okay. Okay. Please close any running applications now. I'm assuming you don't want to close that. And we can close this then. Proceed with installation. Geographic area. America. Time zone. Okay, so I mean, they separated out the US. I feel separated out. Okay. Um. Okay. All right. So let's see. We need This is going to be locales to be generated. So we need en.us. Here we go, right here. Oh, you got it already checked. Next. Yep. Generic 105 key. Yeah, I'm assuming that's probably the right one. They have you, instead of selecting a keyboard like layout like every other distro, they make you choose a brand. That is weird. All right, well, I doubt very much you have a Keychron K2 on here. That's just really weird. Even though I don't have 105 keys, I'm just gonna generic 104 key. I think this says it's international. I don't really want an international one. Weird. Okay. Default. The default compose key. Right logo key. It'd be the left logo key, though, right? We need a quick help. The compose key, also known as the multi key, causes the computer to interpret the next few keystrokes as a combination in order to produce a character not found on the keyboard. On the text console, the compose key does not work in Unicode mode. If not in Unicode mode, regardless of what you choose here, you can always use Control period combination as a compose key. Right? First of all, I mean, how many people even know what brand their keyboard is? Most people are just using a keyboard that came with their computer, or they're using a laptop keyboard, right? I mean, it's really weird. I don't. That whole saying that they said if you do not understand a setting at the beginning, you probably don't need it. I'm just gonna assume that this is one of those things. Here we go. See if this works. So did I make a mistake there, Emacs? Am I not going to be able to use my keyboard because I chose a compose key? What even is a compose key? I made the assumption that it was just like a super key, but that's probably the wrong assumption. It seems to be installing, even though it still says 0%. So because I'm using a Keychron, but that's just going to be like a 75% keyboard. It has 84 keys. It's just weird. So this is 3 out of 5. The second one was not a success. So copy files. Copy grub packages to target and install bootloader. Troot will open up an exterm in the Trooted installation for custom work. Continue will proceed whether or not you have installed a bootloader. If not, you will need to have another way to boot this installation. That was very eloquent, Emacs. It's different. Okay, well, it's not going to matter that much because it doesn't look like... You chose not. Oops. I'm assuming you have to do like, yeah. Okay. Choose a location to install a grub bootloader. The usual choice is to put it on the master boot record of the first hard drive. Choose MBR to install the MBR on any hard disk. Choose petition to install to a petition. Choose no bootloader to proceed without a bootloader. And choose exit to exit this program. I like 60% keyboards, but I need the arrow keys. You should change the host name and username. Optional but not required. No. Okay, let's see. Okay. Installation complete. You may now reboot into the new system. Remember to remove your installation media. Okay, what we'll do is all right. Yeah, it's not great, but sending process configured. And that just reloaded into the... That's not what I wanted to do at all. Okay. You don't want to shut down? We'll just shut down this way. And remove this and start up. Okay. See if that was actually, I mean, at all successful. I think on the 60%, if you can get used to using the different layers of keyboards, you know, you're perfectly fine. But it's not something that I was ever able to really get used to. All right, first... All right, here we go. So we have a working installer. Now let's do... Oh. Oh, the mirrors are slow. Is that... It really does. Okay, I didn't know that. Usually with the XFCE, I use the was it the... Is that the whisker menu, I think is what it's called? So, in the whisker menu, if that's what it's called, it has a dedicated shutdown button. So that's the reason why I didn't know that. But now I know. Oh boy, those mirrors are slow. Alright, anyone who's used Dev1 before, is there a way to change to faster mirrors? Because in Debian, you can choose which mirrors you use, or which... I don't know if they're mirrors, but like which repo you use, I guess. That is painfully slow. All this just install NeoFetch. I guess while we're waiting, we can go through and see what programs are installed. Accessories. So we're gonna have fire menu, just for like running things in a sandbox, I think. Graphical disk map. Midnight Commander is here. Okay. Hello, Midnight Commander. I haven't seen you in like 15 years. Alright, quick poll of the chat. Anybody still use Midnight Commander as their file manager? I'm very curious. There are so many better options. I mean, ViFM is a better option. Rangers obviously would be my choice. NNN is not horrible. I mean, not as many features, obviously, but it's pretty good. Let's see here. Where were we? Midnight Commander editor. Screenshot, which is going to be the XFC screenshot tool. Thunar's here. Tilda. Vim. Xburn. Genie. Meld is installed by default, which is good. Graphics. What is Gigi? What is that? I mean, there's nothing wrong with Midnight Commander. It's just, you know, showing its tooth, age a little bit. Okay, I don't know what Gigi is. It's some kind of graphical thing. GIMP is installed by default. Firefox ESR, which is not a surprise. HexChat. Mutt is installed by default. I don't think I've ever seen a distribution out that comes with Mutt installed by default. Not a single one until now. That's awesome. I don't actually need to set that up, but that's cool. Okay, so transmission for torrents and stuff. MPV is here. Audacious is here. CD Ripper is here. Abby Word for word processing, but no LibreOffice, interestingly. Synaptics.sh is here. It's probably to install Synaptic Package Manager. Okay. All that and so this does read as Dev1, which is good. Beowulf is the most recent release of Dev1, using 4.19 for the kernel, Bash 5.0.3. This is XFC using the XFWM window manager. And this is the XFC for terminal. I did not know that Midnight Commander had Samba built in. I did not know that. Yeah. Okay, so I take back everything bad I ever said about Midnight Commander. I'm sorry, Midnight Commander. I'm gonna have to go use you now because I use Samba all the time, but I end up having to go use a graphical file interface or graphical a GUI file manager. So in terms of applications installed, not a ton of stuff here, but some really interesting new things that you don't see everywhere. So like the Midnight Commander is not something you see installed all the time. Yeah, I haven't been checking the so we could do so yeah, 325 is not bad. Not bad at all. Even though we already did this. I usually in the distro reviews I actually do this, but I haven't been doing that. So yeah, in terms of like resources, muy bueno, right? Um, but the other like Mutt was another good example of something that you just don't see installed all the time. So GFTP is for FTP and stuff. Another thing you don't see install all that much. So that is really cool. Now, obviously, if you're going to run this, you're not going to have systemd installed, so you're going to have to use something else. And I'm not sure what this uses instead. Does anybody know what Devon uses instead? Is this run it or one of the open init ones? I can never remember. Because I think Devon actually lets you choose, but this one did not. So let's see here. Source, you can download it, use it, copy it, blah 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 blah. So what are you using instead? It doesn't say what it uses. Well, it does say this is meant to be run as a live medium as well, so that's interesting. Because it doesn't really matter, but that's interesting. So you wouldn't, like I said, you wouldn't have systemd, but so if you're one of those people who are against systemd, so it's OpenRC. All right, well, we'll try that. RC. Nope. Unless I mistyped it. Nope, doesn't. Command not found. I'm be completely honest. I've never actually used anything that doesn't use systemd because I've never had a problem with systemd. To me, systemd just works. Is it bloated? Maybe, but what do I care? I use bloated stuff all the time. All right, so actually, like I said, this is not a bad little distro. You gotta run it as root. Nope. Well, I'm going to go ahead and abandon the Debian-based distros now. We're going to go ahead and move to an Arch-based distro. $90 megabytes. What desktop environment do you use, Torsten? Or do you use a window manager? I have no clue what I'm at when I start up, but I have a ton of stuff that starts up in the background. I have Dropbox and Skype opens up for whatever reason. It will not stop opening up. Skype is like the devil of everything. But you have to have it installed because I do podcasts with it. Alright, so the next one we're going to be doing is Reborn OS. Now this is the one that took forever to install. Or to download, I mean. So this is going to be Arch, I believe. Alphabetical order, Matt. Get it out of your head. Herbstloft, okay. On 32-bit Void. Void is another one that I've never tried before. Alright, let's see here. Do. We'll go look at what this is here in just a second. So let's okay, so we can get rid of Refracta. So this is Reborn OS. Pick from over 10 desktops, more than 30 optional features, worldwide mirrors, made for you, made with you. Easy graphical solutions. This is one that I'd never heard of before, so it'll be interesting to see. So it offers KDE, GNOME, Deepin, Budgie, Cinnamon, Mate, OpenBox, i3, XFC, Enlightenment, and LX Qt, or no desktop at all. Well, which one do you think we should choose? We're going to find out if that's all in the live CD, because I don't remember. Because I downloaded from here, just using SourceForge. So, I will say that this website reminds me of a Flash site so much. Like, it looks like it uses Flash. I mean, it just really, really does. Alright. Let's look at Reborn OS on DistroWatch. So I want to make sure. Here we go. Yep. It says Arch. It says desktop GNOME, but it says it offers 10. Reborn OS is a desktop-oriented Linux distribution based on Arch Linux. Although the Reborn OS live image provides a GNOME desktop only, the installation process offers a choice to install one of many popular desktop environments and window managers. Other interesting features of the distribution include support for Flatpak packages, optional installer of Antbox for running Android applications, a compatibility to roll back the system to a previous state, and graphical system configuration and maintenance tools. Now, I guess we're going to find out here, Emacs. We're going to find out. I think we've learned enough about this. Let's just jump in. I mean, come on. You only live once. YOLO. Here we go. Distro number 4. I've been now streaming already for an hour and a half, and I still have one to go. I don't know if I'm going to get to that last one. Time flies when you're having fun. So that was the Arch Selector. Okay. So the beginning of that reminded me a lot of Arco and Endeavor and pretty much every Arch installer ever. So we're going to get to see what this uses to install stuff as. Probably Calamares. I would guess that it's another Calamares installer. We're stuck on a gray screen. We do have a cursor though, so that's a thing. Well, is it installing Flash in the background, maybe? Is that the reason why it's taking so long? Is this another situation where the panel's hidden on me? That'd be funny. 2 in a row, or 2 out of 5 have the panel hidden, but no, that would have been funny. Well, this is almost like watching grass grow, except for, you know, less interesting. Let's see if this is a full screen problem. Yep. It was a full screen problem. So this is GNOME 40. Okay. Screen lock disabled. Screen locking requires the GNOME Display Manager. Okay. Frozen system. We'll get out of this again. Every time I get out, all right, you know what? Fine. We won't use full screen. We'll just use this. It's still frozen. Okay. That's a fail. Well, let me try it. Click anything. That's because it's not grabbing the keyboard. Alright, well, you want what? When in doubt, power off the machine and try again. Reborn OS. I did click on try it. It did nothing. Like, I realized that there's points where I'm just kind of dumb, but that one there was kind of obvious. But it did nothing. Oh, but it's gonna show up this time right away. I'm not gonna have to get out of full screen. This has something to do with VirtualBox. No clicking. It is catching the mouse because the mouse cursor changed. Well, Reborn. Interesting. Well, I mean, I don't. All right. Last thing I can try, because sometimes it does not like this SVGA one, and you have to use VGA. This will be the last thing I will try. Then we'll just move on to the next one. Okay, install it. That was the problem. And it does not do a very good job of fitting everything to the screen, but that's okay. So in terms of what installer is this the installer that came with Antergos. I mean, this is anybody who's tried Antergos remembers, like, I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's Cinchi, CNCHI. So yeah. Excuse me. All right. For best results, please ensure this computer has at least 8 GB of available storage, is plugged into a power source, is connected to the internet. The installer is update, and there is no temporary packaging issues that would interfere with this last one here. New users have no clue what that means. Okay, so select your country or area. So we're going to choose English, US. Okay, it's good enough. English US. The installer just does not fit to this screen. Okay, so here's the choices. Budgie, Cinnamon, Deepin, GNOME, i3, KDE, LXQt, Mate, OpenBox, Pantheon, and XFCE. Well, you want to know what? We're using Pantheon. I haven't used the Elementary OS desktop environment in ages. Okay, so add accessibility packages. We don't need to do that. Applications to perform system maintenance. Common applications to perform system maintenance on. Okay, well, we'll install those, but Arch user AUR support, of course. Chromium web browser. I'm not going to choose anything else here. I'm just going to go ahead and let it choose whatever is by default. Because I'm very curious to see what they install by default. So this is going to do the LTS version of the kernel by default. I have to say that I prefer the Arco Linux way of doing things, because this is just a long list of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and, yep. It is recommended that you use an additional cache. This installer needs to download a ton of packages from the internet. Sure. Yes. And crash. Oh, okay. Well, you want to know what? Reborn OS, you had your chance. I'm done with you. Okay, we're not doing that again. Goodbye. So that one there was a complete fail. Last one. So this one here is going to be... So we can close this one here, and close this one here, and close this one here. So this is OpenMandriva. OpenMandriva is a unique and independent distribution and a direct descendant of Mandriva Linux. So this one here is going to be interesting because I don't know anything about it. Not a damn thing. So let's go and see what DistroWatch has to say about it. Oh, can't type. That's not the right one. Here we go. It's probably not the right one, but it's okay. The OpenMandriva distribution is a full-featured Linux desktop and server sponsored by the OpenMandriva Association. It is based on Rosa, or Russian Linux Distribution Project, which forked Mandriva Linux in 2012, incorporating many of Mandriva's original tools and utilities and adding in-house enhancements. The goal of OpenMandriva is to facilitate the creation, improvement, promotion, and distribution of free and open source software in general and OpenMandriva projects in particular. So this is going to be something like Fedora, right? So we're going to find out. Let's jump in. I'm going to make sure I can spell everything right. Okay, so that one, yep, it's a VirtualBox. You're awesome. There we go. Okay, so we're going to choose some RAM here. And just go. This is going to be the last VirtualBox I set up today. I'm so happy about that. Way too much. That's good. Okay, here we go. Last one. I should have done this all beforehand, but it would have been... This is much more entertaining. Okay. Last one. Add OpenMandriva. With this is the KDE Plasma version. Choose. Here we go. Start OpenMandriva Live mode. Yeah. I did a video on Solus not too long ago, Raphael. It's a good distribution with really bad package management. But not even the package management, just mostly really bad repos, because I don't have a ton of software. don't know if you could hear that, but it had a very entertaining opening tune. Okay, so here we go. My first Linux distribution when I changed to Linux full time was actually Solus. It was the it was 2017ish. It was when Ike was still there. So OpenMandriva is an exciting free desktop operating system that aims to cater to and interest first-time and advanced users alike. Okay, well, we're going to do next. So this is going to be the open. I don't think I'm going to need to actually go through this, at least not right now. Let's go ahead and install the thing first. So, what installer we're going to say? Oh, here we go. This is our first Calamares of the night. We know how to use this one. All right. This has a keyboard model too. Maybe it's just always there and I've never realized it. It probably is just always there and I just never realized that they have a selector for the brand of PC or keyboard that you have. So we don't need a swap. We'll just go ahead and hit next. And alright, a strong and complicated password in deference to, because DT always says use a strong and complicated password. Next, install now. Here we go. So this is going to be on ext4. So nothing special about the file system it uses. Let's see how long this takes. I like Solus 2 Torsion. I just don't care for the fact that it doesn't have very much in terms of software to install. The third-party software repository that it does have is slow. I mean, it's just so slow. So that's the thing that you're really going to have to know if you're going to use Solus. So I moved from Solus to, I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure I went to Antergos. Because back then Arco hadn't been released yet. So Antergos was like the Arch installer for people who didn't want to or know how to install Arch. Yeah, and everybody knows what DT's password is, so nobody really knows what mine is. Oh, it'd be really easy to guess. I mean, like, really easy to guess. So we're creating, yeah. Well, I will say that they didn't put a lot of slides in here, like, to entice us to watch the installer. I can remember installing Windows XP for the first time, because I'm pretty sure Windows XP was the first Windows distribution that had like those slides on it for when you installed it. Because they were like selling Windows XP. I might be wrong about that, but it was the first one that I saw. No, we don't want to do that. We want to shut down. Damn, Juan, you guessed it. And Emacs, you guessed it as well. Yes, it is TLC. What are you going to do about it? So it's not not so much of a strong and complicated password. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that TLC is not a strong and complicated password? Well, my heart is broken. No, I'm not the first Windows distribution. It was just the first. I did call it a distribution, didn't I? That's funny. Okay, I can't help it. All right, so we got KDE Plasma. Open. Startup times spectacular. It's the fastest we've seen all day. You still probably can't hear it because I don't have the desktop audio set up. But it has a little tune that it plays every time it starts up that goes on for about 15 seconds. That would be something that would drive me bonkers. Okay, so we're going to not show this again. We're going to go through this. I don't really need a confirmation of that. It's a 100% community-driven association that believes in the values of free software and collaboration, and whose founding values are development, equality, cooperation, openness, freedom, group achievement, independence, and solidarity. Holy moly, that's a lot of values. Oh, you can hear it. Cool. I didn't even realize I had that set up, so I probably shouldn't play anything that will get me copyright striked. Alright, so next. New features and major changes. OpenMandriva, codename Argon, is published by OpenMandriva Association. Over the course of the year past, we have tried to evolve the way you use your desktop. Here are some of the things that we have done to OpenMandriva. Now, see, this is the kind of thing that you would have expected in the installer. We have slides here. Like, they could have done that. You can configure your desktop to look like and feel like any other systems you may be used to. Okay, so I mean, this is just a kind of a thing that shows you the thing that you can do with your system using. We'll test the kernel here in a minute. Next, OpenMandriva brand name, applications, and features. OpenMandriva repo picker. So this is going to be to enable some extraneous repos. Update channel. Oh, cool. So you can choose whether or not to be. I'm assuming rock is going to be like a rock. Rolling would obviously rolling. I wonder what cooker would probably be like uber bleeding edge. I wish it would give you an explanation of what those were. Restricted, unsupported, and non-free repositories. So that's cool. Desktop presets. Okay, so we're gonna try some of these. So this is what the OpenMandriva one looks like. So we're gonna try Ubuntu. Apply. The preset depends on additional packages to be installed. Depending on your system configuration, you may now be asked to enter your root password. Okay. I always like distributions that give you options for different layouts and stuff. It's one of the things that I really liked about Mate for the longest time, because Mate gives you like several different layouts that you can choose from. Rock is the Dwayne Johnson distro. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mandriva, but that doesn't look anything like Ubuntu. So for one thing, your panels here are overlapping. Do you wish to log out? Oh, you want? It's going to ask you to log out. I bet you it looks better when it's done logged out. Well, this has definitely been my longest stream to date. Don't know why I decided to do 5. I was going to do 4, but you know what the hell. So I'm not going to choose all of those. No, it still has it overlapping. We just wanted to hear the tune again. Alright, so that was in Ubuntu. Windows 7 and Windows 10 are probably going to look, you know, like you'd expect them to look. So we're going to try this one. Can't say I was impressed with the Ubuntu one, because like I said, you got your panels overlapping up there. We still spent time on it though, Emacs. So this is a little bit better. Where here's there we go. There's Plank. I bet you that is Plank too. Oh, maybe Latte Doc. Yep, Latte Doc. Sure, we can log out now. It shouldn't do anything. We'll just keep this one for now. The other ones are going to be just look like Windows or Plasma. Alright, here we go. Now that I'm done playing around with the aesthetics, we can actually see what's installed here. Nice tune. It just... so long. Okay. So, for Edge, we have very well organized mathematics, K-Calc, LibreOffice Math. Let's see. And then, I mean, that seems to be redundant a bit. Digicam, Gwenville, Krita is here. LibreOffice Draw, Ocular, Show Photo, Scanlight for scanning, Internet, Feed Reader for aggregator, Falcon web browser, and no KDE or no Firefox. I mean, they did say they were going to go all free, and Firefox has some proprietary stuff in it. Maybe, does it? Does it have like some proprietary blobs or something that they're trying to get away from? Falcon is an interesting choice. Not something that I would have guessed that they would be using. Let's see here. KDE Connect is installed. KGet, KMail, Conversation. Those are all the all the KDE stuff's here. Eliza is also the KDE music player, I believe. It's done by the same people. Komoso for the camera. Kden Live is installed by default. K-Wave Sound Editor. Simple Screen Recorder is also here. SM Player and VLC. I'm not exactly sure why you need SM Player and VLC installed. Both of them. It doesn't. Okay. LibreOffice is here. Desktop presets. Phantom is installed by default. OpenMandriva Control Center. So this is the thing that we saw at the beginning. So configure keyboard, configure touchpad, audio volume, Bluetooth, connections, add and configure user groups, service management, configure time. I mean, this is a welcome app, but I mean, version 1.0. Yeah, I know Falcon doesn't have Java support, I don't think, like, at all. So that's going to render like most of the web completely unusable. I might be wrong about that though. I'm not actually sure. Utilities, Arc, the emoji selector, Firelight, Kate, Calc, Kmail import, and nothing here. I mean, Latte Doc we just installed. Oh, hey, you want it? This is the second one we have. Midnight Commander installed by default. So that is now 2 distros that had MC installed by default. That's very interesting. Yeah, so that's that. So let's go ahead and open up ourselves a terminal. Probably console, right? Yep. So here's the question. What's the package manager on OpenMandriva? So is it going to be DNF? Nope. Oh, sudo, yep. It is DNF, yep. It does have JavaScript. It's just that Google cut out minority browser. Okay. Okay, so let's fetch. So Run that again so it actually shows up. So we got OpenMandriva, we got their nice logo here. We got the kernel 5.10, bash 5.1.4. This is running Plasma version 5.20, so not quite the latest version of Plasma, but it's not like the oldest thing you've ever seen. And this is, let's see what we're doing in terms of, so we got 713 megs used as basically startup. I mean, we've opened up some stuff, so some of that's probably going to be, some of it's going to be the stuff that we opened up. Well, so it uses the RPM stuff or the DNF stuff for install, but it's not based on like Fedora or any of that kind of stuff. It's supposedly completely independent, right? So that's interesting. Well, that's possible. I'm not going to bother doing the updates, though. It doesn't really matter that much. Did we see Discover? I think we saw Discover, didn't we? System. Yeah, Discover's here. Yay, Discover's here. Out of all the graphical software stores, Discover's my least favorite. It's just not well done at all. I mean, I know they've tried really hard, and it's way better than it used to be, but it's still not great. The GNOME version, you guys know that I don't have, the greatest opinion of GNOME, but man, the GNOME software store is way better than Discover. That's just for sure. So let's see here. I'm just curious. So there are a lot of Linux updates here. A lot of libraries and stuff. I'm not sure if Discover would actually show. The RPM stuff is getting updated as well. Systemd. Just check if there's an update for the kernel Plasma. Was it DNF? I can never remember what DNF. I don't use it that often enough to know. Probably could have just asked, alright Emacs, how do you update a DNF-based system? I don't actually remember. It's probably just simple, right? It's just DNF. Yeah, see, I knew that. I didn't know that. I figured it was probably simple. Yeah, we go up to 5.11. So yeah, you get a kernel update. We'll just go ahead and do the... A lot of updates there. The mirrors seem to be fairly fast as well, which is good. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to watch, do updates on live camera? It's the way I started out the stream, and that should be the way I end the stream as well. Just in time for the Gatorade to be gone. I'm really impressed with the speed of this, actually. The layouts weren't all that great. I mean, in terms of like that Ubuntu layout, that was not impressive. The Mac OS one is just, I mean, it's here, and they did install the icons. Yeah, it seems really good. If you're interested in like a distribution that has a lot of different ways of controlling like how you install or how you get updates and stuff, so like you can choose different like paths, like that rock and the rolling and stuff, that seems like a really neat way of doing things, because normally when like OpenSUSE, for example, they have a rolling and a stable path, but you choose that at download time. This here seems like you can choose to go back and forth. It's kind of like installing the Debian stable or whatever, and then installing the backport stuff to kind of get the less stable stuff. It's really interesting. It's definitely something that I would be interested in checking out again, because they have other downloads as well. Yeah, I know I always judge the themes based on what comes pre-installed, and you can change it as much as you want. But so, I tried not to mention the last Devlon one that actually worked. Like that XFCE theme was atrocious, but I didn't want to mention it because like you can change that stuff, right? It's just this. In this case, they actually went out of their way to do some theming, and it's not necessarily the most successful thing in the world. The Mac one is okay. You can change between Leap and Tumbleweed, like after you've installed. I didn't know that. I mean, I haven't used OpenSUSE in ages, so. Anyway, so we can just do a reboot here. And then we can check and see if it updated the KDE stuff. And then I'm going to be done. Because this was a long-ass stream. Alright. Nice tune. It's just really long, right? It just keeps going and going. Okay, so according to this, it did not change the version of Plasma at all. That's interesting about the OpenSUSE stuff. So installing didn't actually change the version of Plasma, and it didn't actually change the amount of memory we're using. So we didn't actually have a whole bunch of memory stuff before, so that's good. All right, I'm done. Thanks everybody for watching. I mean, this was a marathon in terms of installing stuff over and over again, and there were updates and there was failures along the way, and there were some successes, which is about the way these streams usually go. So again, thanks everybody for watching. I'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons, Devon, Marcus, Meglin, Donnie, Sven, Merrick, Camp, Mitchell. Thanks everybody for your support. These last few months has just been amazing. I mean, I'm still constantly shocked that anybody actually sits around and watches me do this stuff. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for See, this is why I got to stop. I can't talk anymore. Thank you everybody for participating in the chat. Participation. That's where I got to end. So thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you next time.